I believe it was a silver and gold cane factory. There was this factory, and it might have been connected to some silver cars or some gold cars or whatever. But I had this cane factory, and they're making canes, really nice canes. I believe canes with like some maybe some hardwood or some ironwood or something like that. They were really beautiful canes and really high end canes, and they had like real silver, real gold, like a lion's head, and there was a couple different silver and gold, really nice canes basically. They had beautiful wood, beautifully whatever, and it had like a silver top or a gold top, a lion's head, or different kinds of heads, and a bottom on it, which was also silver or gold, to protect the wood from the ground and stuff like that. Anyway, this was somewhere around 1910 or 1920 or some year like that, but it was a real silver and real gold, just like 8% gold or something like that, or some odd amount of silver and gold just to make it so it wouldn't rust. And I think it might have had a rod that went through it. I mean, a bar that went through it. I like to say rod because you know Rodney, my supposed father, but a bar that went through it basically. So anyway, really nice piece of wood, high end canes, basically black or white or like ornate, stained wood, basically. Beautiful. They're really beautiful. And I think I was also selling top hats and also some jackets and clothes and stuff like that too. But anyway though, I had this one silver cane factory. I believe it was somewhere in Europe or whatever. Anyway though, I believe some black people went to go work there for them. I think back then they might have been known as Papa's Boys, basically, or something like that. Basically, this black guy that was leading some black people, basically, or something like that. This is 1920, 1910 or so. Anyway, though, after a while, they ended up using knives, I believe, in killing off all my Germans or all my people working at the factory and basically taking it over. And they basically started minting coins or started selling the canes or whatever and just sold everything that was in the factory and then left and went to another place. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, Papa was basically a plague unto this world. And then later on, I believe he finally got access to some bombers or something like that. It was cover bombing or bombing people. Like I said, what happened is basically he had one of these canes where he saw a nice sea dress, he had fur coats, and he was like, oh, I got your drugs. Yeah, and basically he was basically getting white women or some English women. Basically, he's getting women addicted to cocaine. I mean, to opium. And like I said, he was telling his people basically, you have to keep taking it or else you're gonna die. And like he was slapping people around, and he'd be like slap, and he would give them he would always slap them before he gave them the drugs or something like that. He'd always abuse them or hurt them before he gave them the drug or something like that. Anyway, he's a real piece of shit black person, basically. Anyway, my Irish people came to me about this guy, basically. And like I said, he was a real abusive black person. So, and he kept on slapping people around and hurting people. And like he would jab people with his cane and stuff like that. He was just this really bad person. And he would hang out with all the actors or all the people that were in my film things. And he was hanging around a lot. And my Irish people said, well, there's this guy, the black guy, hanging around a lot, and blah blah blah. And he's hurting, he's hurting workers, and basically he's really abusive to his employees and his people, or his slaves or whatever. Anyway, I don't know. I don't really know. All I know is that basically he took over a cane factory. He was really being abusive around 1910 or 1920 or 1930, some year basically, and he was a real piece of shit basically. He was a really bad person, pretty much. And basically, so they kicked him out of Warsaw. He was around Warsaw or some town like that. And he got kicked out of Warsaw, and he went to another town a little bit close by. And again, he was trying to, you know, he was doing the same thing over again. He was getting people addicted to drugs. He was, and he would try and get his people to steal for him or whatever. He was just a really bad, horrible black person, basically. He would try and get, he'd tell his people to steal or lie or kill or something like that. I don't really know. Like I said, he was just a really bad, horrible black person, basically. Anyway, so, he was kicked out of 3 towns, basically. And at one point in time, he was like, to me, and I was like, you know what? You're kicked out of every town. Fuck off. And I literally denied him access to civilization. Basically. I could do that. Like I said, I'm the world owner on basically the Great Lucifer Star Line. So basically, like I said, I owned White Star Lines, Black Star Lines, Blue Star Lines. Basically, if you wanted to cross the ocean, you did it in one of my ships. If you wanted to fly between one country and another country, you did it on one of my aircraft. So basically, I denied him. I said, "You will not fly on my aircraft. You will not go by my cars. Blah 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 blah." Anyway, basically, yeah, I denied him civilization. Basically. Anyway, I think he eventually went out to the Middle East or somewhere else like that. I don't know. Like I said, when someone like me denies someone access to, basically, I could do that. Like I said, you've been kicked out of 3 or 4 towns. He was a really horrible person, and I was like, I don't want you around my people. I don't want you around. You know, you're a bad person. You've been kicked out of 3 towns. This is your 4th time. You know, yeah, and so like, I was like, the next time, yeah, and people had gotten hurt every single time or whatever, so or something like that, or killed, So anyway, so I basically said, you're denied. So anyway, I admit it. I denied him. I basically and my Irish people pretty much carried it out. I mean, it's like I am Lucifer Star, creator of humanity, creator of the black people, creator of all this stuff, owner of their owner of 400 other planets, nice ones, and probably more. Like I said, some people said that like there were actually 3,000 planets that were mine, or 1,500 planets that were directly my property, or directly mine. Like I said, I built 800 galaxies or 80 whole galaxies, like a lot more than I would ever need or ever see. So, I owned the LSF colony ship. So, anyway, 100 trillion year old life form, basically, and Papa decided to pick a fight with me. So, and was just trying, just abusing the rules, thinking he could do whatever he wants. It's like, no, you can't. So, anyway, it got back to me, basically, and pretty much I made a decision on him. Like I said, the creator of all justice systems, and and the military, and the governments. Basically, I am the person who built the structure for your civilization. I built the structure for other civilizations as well. So, yeah, that's who Lucifer Star is. That's who Ellis is. And it's like, well, I don't normally get involved in things, but Papa happened to be one of those cases. And then, like I said, there's other evidence where he might have been carpet bombing or nuking cities. So he became worse. So, like I say, eventually the Irish basically deal with him and some other black people, probably the Harlem Wolf people. Like I said, I had many military groups, and I had many people with guns that were highly trained and very skilled. So not just the White Star Line Company. The White Star Line Company had its own security. Tiffany had its own security. America had its own security. All my different groups had their own security, private security. So anyway, because I do my own security for, I had Lucifer White Star Line security, and I also, people just generally need internal security. Security of police and everything else like that. And then of course there's the civilian police. So, there's all these people that are well trained to basically deal with problems, because there's every now and then you get some psycho person or some whatever person, and they become a problem, not just for you but for everyone around them. So basically, like I said, and I had ocean going vessels. I had the White Star Line Company ships. So of course, and I also had the American Airlines as well. So they needed security too, airport security, aircraft security. So so I was directing, paying for, and that was all coming out of actually what the money that they make. So it's all a big system. I either led by directing people directly, or I led by basically saying, okay, you can use this money and hire these people, train these people, blah blah. So everybody had their own little thing, basically. I build structures and I build civilizations. That's what I do. I happen to just be visiting and having a vacation on this planet. So, and I might have actually been lured into this planet, but it's like, hey, I'm Lucifer Star. I can be just about anywhere. It doesn't really matter where I am. It's like, so anyway. Like I said, Thomas O'Brien, I believe, was doing things on my behalf, and plus, there's a lot of orders too. Like they were going to do a rudder or something like that, but they couldn't pour the whole thing all at once. And so some of my Belfast people or some of my people said, "Well, it's okay if we build it and then bolt it together." And I was like, "Yeah, that should be fine." So they were able to pay some local people to forge it locally, instead of one big rudder or everything else like that. And a lot of local people got a lot of money that they wouldn't have gotten. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. Like I like to help out local people. Like they say, local. I actually and later on I was trying to tell my people, well, try and hire locally if you can, because let's try and get the money to some of the people around. I believe in local people. I like people. People that are in the area of to try and support people. Like I said, I employed over 2/3 of the world population, or half the world population, or more. You know. Anyway, and I started White Star Line Company. It's just a small little company for just me. Just build a few boats, a few steamships, just have some fun. Like I said, plus the novelty of steam anyway is one of those things. Like a lot of people like steam anyway. It's very efficient and it's very cool and it's neat. And a lot of people, I mean, even with high-tech civilization, steam power is just one of those things that's, people like it. It's cool. It's neat. And all that. So just the novelty of steam power. I didn't even realize about the novelty of it. But the novelty of steam power is kind of cool too, and that's a draw for people. Right? To be building the old ways, and stuff like that. Like I said, I build high-tech civilizations normally, but here on Earth, I was doing, I kind of wanted to do like a blast from the past, steam power and stuff. And I don't think it ever goes out of style. I don't think steam ever really goes out of style. Maybe it's not the most efficient way to do it, but I mean, it's one of the cooler ways, and it's fairly efficient if it's done right. I mean, technically, it's just as efficient as diesel power, really. And it has a much more wide variety of fuel sources. Trees, coal, I mean, for a small little fledgling fleet like White Star Lines, I was only going to build a couple ships. Just a couple big mammoth ships. I just wanted a ship that was like 600 feet long or 700 feet long, or the 900 footer, And my Belfast people, my Irish people, they really got into it too. And I was proud of them. They're amazing. And there were other things like the Irish people, we ran blockades every now and then. Like some of the smaller people or some of the little groups were trying to fuck around with us or something like that. And so occasionally we ran blockades. We rammed ships, it's true. It's like, get the fuck out of the way. That's why I was proud. White Star Line. Lucifer, White Star Line. It's like, I'm the creator. So, and a lot of people finding out that I'm the creator. It's like, I mean, it's like, well, you see, I'm the creator. I was just having the Germans do my bookkeeping and accounting for me. You understand. They were just doing all my forms and keeping everything running and keeping triplicate and all that other stuff. They were just doing all the paperwork and handling all the printing and everything else like that. That was their service to me, as me being Lucifer, White Star Line, you see. So, Anyway. And while these messages and everything else were deleted and kept from the public knowing, well, you see, anyway. Like I say, there was lots of investigations. And I ordered lots of investigations to find out what was going on, what happened. Like I said, after every battle, every war, every issue, everything that ever happened, as long as I was around, there was always an investigation afterwards. And like I knew, many years after the fact, we'd find out even more. So, you see, Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, and John McCain, all of them. Sorry. They pissed me off. I was nice. I didn't just automatically kill them or sentence them to death. I believe in the jail system. I believe in just telling people who I am, what's going on, and things would stop being a problem. But a few people became a problem. So, you see, I knew that eventually, Mr. I'll Never Die will die. I said I kind of wanted to shoot him myself, though, but oh well.